Hello quilters, I want to show you how to do a yo-yo, and I also am going to attach a leaf. I have these different circles. They're by Karen K. Buckley. They come in many different sizes. I'm going to use this particular size for now. And what you do is you take your piece of fabric and with some kind of marking pen, you trace around it. And then you will cut it out however you want to cut it. I want to make sure I'm not going to cut anything else that I shouldn't. And then you just cut around it. Make yourself a circle. Now I won't finish that now. As you can see, I've got one started here. I've got it all traced out. I've got it all cut. And then all you're going to do at this point is you're going to roll this under. Give yourself just a little bit of a hem. I use quilting thread, hand quilting thread, because it is much stronger and it helps good for pulling taut without breaking. You can use any color you want. That's up to you. I'm using red so you can see it. I would probably match it as close as possible. But you take your end, you roll it over, and you're going to start gathering with your needle. And you're going to gather all the way around like I'm doing here. And you're going to gather the whole circle all the way around, pulling your thread through. And then, as you can see, I've done it completely here all the way around. When you get to the very end, which I will finish this off, you get right here to the other knot. You pull it taut without knots in it, which happen. Okay, there we go. Now to gather it up easy, I generally put my finger in the middle and then I just draw this up. Like so. You have to work it a little bit. Draw it right up and it should gather right up close. I must have a knot in mine somewhere, which you try to avoid. Sometimes it can't be helped. But as you can see, it's brought right up and you have a yo-yo. If you were going to close it off at this point, you bring it back through the back and you knot it off. I'm going to knot it off anyway at this point, although I'm going to show you how to add a leaf to it. But if it happens to break at this point, at least your yo-yo is still together. So at that point, I'm not going to cut it off because I'm going to do a little bit more. I have a pattern here for the leaf. As you can see, I've already traced it on here. I've already cut it out. I do all of mine on my fabric at once, and with a very small stitch, I stitch all the way around here. And I will show you when I come to the points. I will go around and stitch. You use a very narrow stitch. And instead of making a direct, sharp point at your points, I like to stop it, turn it a little bit, walk it, make a straight across, then turn it again, make another half down, and then turn it and stitch it all the way down the other side. And you will do the same thing at this side. This gives your corner a little more room, your point a little more room to turn when you go to turn the fabric. cut it. Remove the pins. Now I would do all of them. I'd have all that I need marked and I would sew them all at once. But for the sake of the video, I'm just doing one. You would cut it out. Giving yourself a little bit of a seam. And then take one end, you have it both right here together, right sides together. Put a little slit in one side.
Okay.
Put a little slit in one side. My daughter just figured out what I was doing.
Sorry.
And then you flip it. You turn it inside out. Make sure your points are cleaned off. Turn them. Clean them out with like a point cutter, point turner. It'll make it nice and sharp, but you got the room in there. There you go. Now as you can see, I've got one here all done, all pressed. There's the hole where I opened it, and you want to be aware of where that hole is. Now you pick up your yo-yo, and what I do is I gather the center of this, and I'm making it into 2 leaves. So what I do is I go through it with the thread that is still attached to the yo-yo, and I pull the yo-yo till they're right there together. And I try to gather it with the yo-yo in place. Like so. And do it a couple times. You've got your quilting thread, which is stronger. And then you just secure it off however you need to. And there you have a yo-yo with leaves attached. And at this point, I would attach it to my quilt where I want it and then knot it off on the quilt. But you can finish it off right here now. I usually just bury it. And just knot it off whichever way you prefer, whatever is your way of your preference of doing it. But there you go. You have a yo-yo leaf with leaf. Happy quilting!